Good morning, Magic players! Today we have an exciting game for y'all, but first, check out this channel's Patreon. Now that the 3 seconds of ads are over, let's showcase the contestants that will be competing for the power of the Vortex. Xenagos returns after a small vacation from another timeline. He's brought his favorite experiment, Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. The Goblin Genius guy has kept the Birds of Paradise, Eternal Witness, Dawn of Hope, Propaganda, Evolving Wilds, and 2 Forests. Glintro returns after an underwhelming performance last game, bringing Xenagos, God of Rebels. Inspired by Horacio's previous versions of this deck, Glintro has kept the Veteran Explorer, New Frontiers, Weird Harvest, Hypergenesis, Horn of Greed, and 2 Forests, Risky. Newcomer Justice Aelia VI joins the fray, bringing Vadrok, Apex of Thunder. The Azorius Judge has kept a Frantic Search, Wheel of Fate, Ancestral Vision, Scroll Rack, Arid Mesa, Sunbaked Canyon, and a snow-covered island. Horacio Doombringer Twirlstash returns with his favorite as well, Nicol Bolas, the Ravager. The evil lemon-scented Seer has kept the Damnation, Hour of Devastation, Crux of Fate, Rocky Tar Pit, Fetid Pools, Scalding Tarn, and a Mountain. I'd like to point out that he kept literally just board wipes and lands. What a guy. Horacio starts us off. Horacio plays a Rocky Tar Pit and passes to the distracted Goblin. Xenagos finally realizes he's in a game and plays an Evolving Wilds, cracking it and passing while searching. Her Honor Justice Aelia patiently waits for Xenagos to find a plains. She then plays a snow-covered island and suspends an Ancestral Visions. It goes into exile with 4 time counters on it. She waves a Dismissaled Hand and passing. Glintro plays a Forest, then a Veteran Explorer. She passes. Horacio, evil as he is, plays a Scalding Tarn, then loses 1 as he cracks both of his fetches to find a volcanic island and an underground sea. Twirling his massive and handsome stash, he passes to the less handsome Goblin. Xenagos plays a Forest, then a Dawn of Hope. On Aelia's upkeep, she removes a counter from the Suspended Visions. On her main phase, the Little Rules Lawyer plays a Sulphur Falls, which comes in untapped. Scroll Rack then enters, and Aelia passes. Glintro plays a Land Return, then a Howling Mine. She hits Mr. Dual and Horacio for 1 with Veteran Explorer, then passes. Horacio draws 2 for turn, then plays the 3rd duel of his colors, a Badlands. Xenagos plays a Mana Confluence, then loses 1 from it to play a Propaganda. In response, Horacio evilly counters it with a counterspell. Looking confused as to why that would be the target of a counterspell, Xenagos passes. Ancestral Visions is down-ticked again on upkeep. Aelia plays a Sunbaked Canyon, then a Mystic Remora. The better counterspell target resolves and Aelia passes after waiting 17.5 minutes for someone to respond. Glintro does a Xenagos thing and plays a Mountain, then a Horn of Greed. Aelia draws from the Fish Enchantment. Veteran Explorer then pokes Aelia for 1 damage and Glintro passes. Horacio plays a Watery Grave tapped, drawing a card. Xenagos plays a Forest, drawing from the Horn. He plays a Birds of Paradise, better late than never. Horacio cycles his Fetid Pools, drawing a card. Eternal Witness then enters, with Xenagos losing 1, and returns Propaganda to hand. On upkeep, Aelia removes another counter from the Suspended Ancestral Visions, and pays the cumulative upkeep on the fish. She plays a Flooded Strand, draws, then cracks it, and loses 1 to find a Rogrin Triome, drawing again. With a ton of cards in hand and mana open for responses, she discards at end of turn and passes. The Reef Thrasher plays a Forest, drawing from the Horn. She then casts New Frontiers, with X being 3. Aelia decides not to draw from the fish. She instead uses Scroll Rack while Frontiers is still on the stack to get rid of 3 useless cards. Then New Frontiers resolves and everyone grabs 3 basics and draws 3 cards. After all that is said and done, Veteran Explorer pokes Aelia again and Glintro passes. Horacio plays a non-duel this turn, a Cascade Bluffs. The Doombringer draws from the land entering. He then plays a Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh. Aelia definitely draws from the fish. Horacio upticks the Walker by 2, stealing Artisan of Kozilek from Glintro. Xenagos facepalms and Horacio passes. Xenagos plays a Swamp, drawing from the Horn. He plays Propaganda and Ghostly Prison, setting up a wall in fear of the Artisan coming at him. On upkeep, Aelia sacrifices the Mystic Remora, then removes the last time counter from Ancestral Vision, casting it and drawing 3. She then draws 2 from the Howling Mine and a 3rd card when she plays a Snow-Covered Island. She plays a Narset of the Ancient Way, then down-ticks the Walker to draw and discard. The card she discards is an Inspired Ultimatum, allowing 7 damage to be directed at the God Pharaoh. Aelia then casts a Lightning Bolt to finish Bolas off. You ever see a bolt be good on Commander? You just did. She then casts up Mythos of Vadrok, paying the full suite of colors for the additional effect. She splits the damage up, dealing 1 to the Artisan and shutting it down, 1 to the Veteran Explorer, 1 to Birds of Paradise, and 2 to the Eternal Witness, killing all but the Artisan. After the card resolves and the targets are yeeted, each player grabs 2 basics and draws 2 cards from the Veteran Explorer. Aelia discards at end of turn, feeling satisfied at the play she did. Glintro plays a Burgeoning, then a Rogue's Passage as her land for turn. The Reef Thasher draws a card from the horn. She then casts a Tempt with Discovery. Kha'Zix and Horatio are tempted, allowing them all to grab whatever land they want, while Glintro grabs 3 lands. They all draw cards based on the lands grabbed. Horatio notably grabbed an Academy Ruins. Kha'Zix sees this, fully expecting the classic Horatio play next turn. Glintro gains 2 from a gain land she played, bounced with Gruul Turf, then played again. She then plays a Soul of the Harvest and passes. Horatio plays an island, drawing a card. He then, of course, does his signature play, Mindslaver. If I had $1 for every time Horatio tried to cast a Mindslaver, I wouldn't have to narrate him playing a Mindslaver. In response to the Mindslaver, Aelia casts a Mystical Tutor, then activates Scroll Rack to shortcut fetching a Force of Negation. She casts it for free, exiling a blue card. Horatio smirks, then taps for double blue to cast the Mana Drain. Force gets countered and the Mindslaver resolves. Horatio then activates it, targeting Kha'Zix. In response, Kha'Zix casts a Swords to Plowshares, getting rid of the Artisan and giving Horatio 10 health. Kha'Zix also casts a Veil of Summer, drawing a card and attempting to empty his hand of good cards. He then casts a Worldly Tutor, grabbing a Sakura Tribe Elder and putting it on top of his deck. All done, Mindslaver's ability resolves and Horatio takes control of Kha'Zix's next turn. Horatio looks at Kha'Zix's hand and laughs. It seems Kha'Zix was literally about to win the next turn. Unfortunate, for he is now a slave to the Bringer of Doom. Horatio starts off the turn with a Bolas' Citadel, or Bolas Box. He then plays an Aetherflux Reservoir. To be honest, I lost track of health at this point because it changes so rapidly, but you'll see why I didn't make the insane effort to track it. Horatio always has a plan, and he keeps it going with the Bolas Box. He loses 4 to cast Adept to the Deathless for 0. He gains the 4 back from Aetherflux. He then flips a Blind Obedience off the top, losing 2 and gaining 5, assuming my math is right. It's probably not. Mystical Tutor is then flipped, losing 1 and gaining 6, probably. Horatio grabs an Enlightened Tutor with a Mystical Tutor, and Kha'Zix knows exactly what's going to happen. Horatio casts it and grabs a Lich's Mastery, puts it on top, then casts it from the top, losing 6 and gaining some amount. He casts a Felidar Sovereign off the top, losing 6, forgetting to exile cards because it's Horatio, and gaining probably like 8 or something. He doesn't forget the part where he draws 8 cards from the life gain though. Cheeky. He casts a Mirari Conjecture from the top, losing an amount and gaining 9, drawing 9 cards. Is he done? Nowhere near. He returns Enlightened Tutor to his hand, then hard casts it, gaining 10, drawing 10, and messes up the order of triggers so that Omniscience is now in his hand before the spell resolves. He's evil, not smart. He plays his land for turn off the box, drawing from Horn of Greed. He plays a Circle of Protection green from the top, gaining 11 and drawing 11. He then finally has enough to activate Aetherflux and exile exactly enough cards to nuke an opponent. He decides to roll, as is Horatio's thing, and lands on Aelia. He pays 50 of Kha'Zix's life, exiles 50 cards from among his lands, hand, and graveyards to blast the Vedalken Wizard to bits. To finish off Kha'Zix, he just simply activates Bolas Box, sacrificing 10 non-land permanents. He sacrifices Lich's Mastery, killing Kha'Zix and removing the activation from the stack. Horatio gleefully passes. Kha'Zix is too busy laughing to see what else is going on. Horatio killed him with his own win con. What a meme. Since Aelia is removed from the universe, Glintro is up next. She plays Xenagos, then Myojin of Life's Web that removes the counter to drop a Blightsteel into play. Horatio looks to the Blightsteel, then his hand, then Kha'Zix, and just concedes, giving Glintro the win.
A very wild game from start to finish. This is one for the memories. Blowout after blowout culminated in an amazing finish. I hope we see more games like this next time on Wizards of the Vortex.